The hydraulic jack lifts the car another 2 inches. You're lying on the cold shop floor. Transmission fluid dripping 30 centimeters from your face. It's Tuesday. It's 10:47 p.m. The customer needed the car back first thing tomorrow, and you always keep your word. That's what you are. A man who keeps his word. You're 38 years old, your own shop, 2 employees, a rent that's being paid. Not rich, never were, but it's yours. You slide out from under the car. You expect to see one of your mechanics forgetting a tool, but it's neither of them. 3 men, 2 stay by the door, 1 walks forward. He wears a dark jacket, tall, broad shoulders, completely blank expression, like someone who stopped feeling things a long time ago. He looks at the car up on the jack, looks at you, then looks at the entire shop as if he's appraising real estate. You ask what he wants. Your voice comes out steadier than you expected. He places an envelope on the workbench, says nothing. You look at the envelope, then look at him. He finally speaks. 2 sentences, simple, direct. We need someone who knows what they're doing. You have 48 hours to decide. The envelope holds $8,000 in cash. You don't open the envelope that night. You put it inside the tool drawer, under the screwdrivers. You go home. You eat cold rice standing at the kitchen counter. You watch TV without seeing anything. You sleep badly. The next morning, you pay the parts supplier, $4,200. Shop rent installment, $1,850. Overdue power bill, $680. Total immediate problems, $6,730. The envelope holds $8,000. You walk to the drawer, look at the envelope, don't touch it, close the drawer. 2 more days go by like that. On Thursday, one of your mechanics damages an electronic fuel injection component on the wrong car, $3,100 in losses you'll have to absorb. The car's owner threatens to sue. You swallow hard and spend 40 minutes apologizing on the phone. Friday morning, you open the envelope. Inside, along with the money, there's a handwritten phone number. Nothing else. You call. The man who answers doesn't say his name. He never will. You'll learn to accept that. He speaks slowly, economically, like someone who charges by the word. The job is simple, in theory. They need 3 cars, plain cars, nothing flashy, sedans, no more than 4 years old, neutral color. You'll receive the cars, you'll make the modifications, you'll return them in 72 hours. You ask what kind of modifications. He explains. Nothing you've never seen. Reinforced fuel tank, suspension recalibrated for extra load. Isolated electrical system. License plates swapped out for an alternating system that changes the number every 40 minutes using an electromagnetic mechanism bolted to the frame. Engine sound dampened. Trackers removed and replaced by false signals broadcast from a static address 3 kilometers from the point of use. You know every part he's describing. The problem isn't technical. The problem is that you know exactly what these modifications are for. You ask how much. He says $35,000. $35,000 for 72 hours of work, paid in 2 installments, half up front, half on delivery. You do the math in 3 seconds. Debts cleared, shop stabilized, 2 months of reserves. You say you need to think. He says you have until 6 p.m. It's 2:23 p.m. You accept at 5:51 p.m. The cars arrive Monday morning, 3 silver Corollas, all under 60,000 kilometers, all with clean paperwork. You don't ask where they came from, they don't explain. You give your 2 mechanics 3 days off. You pay for it out of pocket. No explanation. You work alone. The first day is almost automatic. You've done reinforced suspension dozens of times for rally cars. The logic is the same, only the intention is different. You learn not to think about the intention. The magnetic plate system is the most complex. It takes you 14 hours to calibrate all 3. The mechanism has to be visually undetectable. Nothing can protrude from the rear frame. The alternating interval has to be synced with the onboard GPS, so the number never changes in front of a speed camera. On the morning of the second day, at 3:17 a.m., you're testing the system on the 3rd car when you notice your hands are shaking. Not from fear, from concentration. You are completely inside the technical problem. It's the state you get into when the work is good. That's the first mistake, not accepting the job. The mistake is realizing you enjoy what you're doing. At the delivery, the man in the dark jacket shows up with 2 others. They inspect all 3 cars for 40 minutes. Test the plates, test the suspension. Start each engine and listen. The man looks at you, nods. $17,500 in cash, 50s and hundreds. You count it in front of him without shame. He hands you a burner phone, a basic Samsung. Prepaid, you ask what for. He says he'll call when there's another job. You say nothing, but you don't give the phone back. The second call comes 3 weeks later. This time it's 5 cars. 2 of them have requirements you've never seen before. One needs a hidden compartment in the floor of the rear seat, 22 centimeters deep, bottom lined with acoustic foam, magnetic closure, imperceptible to the touch. You ask what goes inside. Silence on the line. You don't ask again. Payment this time is $60,000. 72 hours. You'll be sleeping in the shop for 3 days. You say you accept. Over the following months, you get very good at this other life. You learn to only work at night, to write nothing down, to pay your mechanics in cash during the weeks you get paid by the others, to keep the accounts separate, to ask no questions, to avoid the news when there's a major police operation in the city. The shop starts showing up in Google results with more reviews. You hire a third mechanic for the legitimate work. The rent is being paid months in advance. You replace the air compressor with a professional model. You buy a new hydraulic lift. The man in the dark jacket calls once a month, sometimes every 3 weeks. Every job is different. Every job has a new detail you've never done before. You start looking forward to the calls, not for the money, for the technical problem. One Tuesday afternoon, you're aligning the electrical system on a modified pickup truck when you realize you're whistling while you work. You stop whistling. Here's where I ask you something. You just found out that one of the hidden compartments you built over the last 6 months was used to transport a person. Not weapons, not money. A person. You don't know who. You don't know if they went in voluntarily or not. You have the number of a detective who left his card at your shop 2 years ago during a routine inspection. The number is still in your wallet. Do you call the detective and hand over everything you know? Or do you decide that what goes in and out of those compartments is none of your business? Tell me in the comments. And be honest, because your answer will change the ending of this video. The 11th job is different from the start. The man in the dark jacket doesn't show. Instead, a woman appears. Mid-40s, short hair, glasses. She looks like a bank manager. Speaks softly. Articulates every sentence with surgical precision. She says the job this time is urgent. 48-hour deadline. 1 car only. But the specs are the most complex you've ever received. She places a tablet on the workbench. You read the specifications. Radio signal interference system integrated into the dashboard. Specific frequency range, 433 MHz, 315 MHz, and 868 MHz. Those are the frequencies of the most widely used vehicle tracking systems in the country. The car needs, in practice, to create a cone of silence around itself while in motion. You look at her. She states the price, $90,000. You do the math, $90,000 for 48 hours of work, over $1,800 per hour. Then you do another calculation, one you don't want to do. In 12 months of work for these people, you've received approximately $380,000. You've spent less than a third of it on your lifestyle. The rest is distributed across 3 accounts at different banks and in physical cash inside an empty toolbox at the back of the shop. You're no longer paying off debts. You're accumulating. You're no longer surviving. You're building something. The problem is, you built it on a floor that isn't yours. The morning after the 11th job, you arrive at the shop at 7 a.m. as usual. The gate is open. You always lock the gate. You walk in slowly. Sitting in the chair next to the diagnostic bench is a man you've never seen before. Young, 25 maybe. White t-shirt, jeans, clean sneakers. He looks like a student waiting for a bus. He's looking at the burner phone that was in your drawer. The phone the man in the dark jacket gave you after the first job. You ask who he is. He looks up, smiles. A smile with no warmth in it at all. He says he's a federal agent. Shows his badge. He says they've known everything since the 4th job. That the pickup from the 8th job was intercepted. That the magnetic plates from the 2nd job were found on an abandoned vehicle after a bank robbery in which 2 people died. He sets the burner phone on the workbench. Next to it, he places 3 printed photographs. You recognize the 3 silver Corollas from the first job. You recognize them because you spent 14 hours calibrating each one. The agent says you have 2 options. Option 1, he makes the call right now. In 20 minutes, the shop is surrounded. You spend the rest of the day being charged with conspiracy and crimes whose full scope you probably don't even know. Option 2, you cooperate. You keep taking the jobs. But now you also talk to them. Everything you know, every technical detail, every deadline, every vehicle, every contact. You look at your workbench, at the new hydraulic lift you bought 3 months ago, at the professional compressor, at the shop's listing on Google Maps with 4.8 stars and 340 reviews. You look at the agent. He's waiting. You cooperate. For 4 months, you keep taking the jobs. Except now, before each delivery, you spend 2 hours in a windowless room in a commercial building on the east side. You describe every modification, every frequency, every mechanism. 2 federal technicians write it all down. The man in the dark jacket never found out. The woman with the glasses never found out. In the final operation, 18 people are arrested. 2 police officers and a federal judge among them. The operation has a name. Operation Clean Axis. You read about it in the news the next morning, sitting at your workbench in the empty shop. The deal you made with the federal prosecutor gives you immunity in exchange for your cooperation. Your $380,000 in accounts and in cash is frozen and administratively seized. You don't go to prison, but you don't keep anything either. The shop stays. The 340 reviews stay. The hydraulic lift stays. The compressor stays. You're 38 years old. You have exactly what you had before: a shop, 2 employees, a rent that's close to being overdue. The following Tuesday at 10:47 p.m., you're lying on the cold shop floor. Transmission fluid dripping 30 centimeters from your face. Same as a year ago. But this time the burner phone isn't in the drawer. And this time, when the side door rattles, you hold your breath. Nobody comes in. It's just the wind. You slide out from under the car, pick up the screwdriver, get back to work. You're a man who keeps his word. The problem is that, for a while, you gave it to the wrong people.